In the past couple of years, the Grim Reaper has continued to prove just how relentless and unforgiving it can be. Legends like Billy Graham, Lanny Poffo, Jerry Jarrett, and Bushwhacker Butch have all departed for the great locker room in the sky, leaving behind a void that will never be filled. While WWE has lovingly edited heroes' tributes for these iconic wrestlers, there are others whose passing barely received a mention from the company. This raises the question of why WWE has been so cold and seemingly indifferent towards these fallen athletes. Join us as we shine a spotlight on these overlooked talents, their legacies, and unravel the puzzling question. In 10 wrestler deaths ignored by WWE. Number 10. Chris Kanyon. Chris Kanyon, a former US champion and tag team champion, joined WWE during the Invasion angle. However, in the years that followed, Kanyon often found himself either sidelined with injuries or in the role of a jobber. Eventually, he was released by WWE in 2004. Unfortunately, Kanyon, who had battled bipolar disorder for many years, was found dead in 2010 beside an empty bottle of depressants and an apology note. Surprisingly, WWE barely acknowledged his passing. Was it because he took his own life? Or perhaps it was due to Kanyon's claim, which he later retracted, that WWE released him because he was gay, a statement that caused quite a stir at the time. Another possibility is that his brief attempt, alongside Raven, to sue the company for allegedly cheating wrestlers out of healthcare soured WWE's view of him. Or maybe, in the most brutal scenario, WWE simply believed that nobody would remember him or his time with the company. What are your thoughts on this overlooked chapter in wrestling history? Number 9. Ludwig Borger. During his brief stint from 1993 to 1994, the formidable superstar Ludwig Borger made a notable impact in the wrestling world. He secured a victory over Marty Jannetty at SummerSlam, embarked on an impressive 2-year undefeated streak, engaged in a heated feud with Razor Ramon for the Intercontinental Championship, and even participated in the main event of Survivor Series alongside Yokozuna, facing off against formidable opponents like the Steiners and The Undertaker. After departing from the company, Borger went on to achieve further athletic success. He became the first Scandinavian to compete in UFC 1, vied for the Finnish heavyweight championship as a boxer, and even ventured into politics, getting elected to the Finnish parliament. However, despite his accomplishments, in 2010, tragedy struck when Borger was found dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Surprisingly, the company did not acknowledge his passing. In independent accounts, Jim Ross wrote about Borger's struggles with substance abuse and alcohol, remarking that he hadn't been the easiest person to be around. Number 8. Chris Candido. Known for his exceptional technical prowess, Chris Candido had established himself as a respected figure in the world of professional wrestling. He enjoyed notable stints in promotions such as ECW and Smoky Mountain Wrestling, showcasing his skills to great acclaim. Even during his relatively brief tenure in WWE, Candido managed to leave a lasting impact. He was involved in memorable moments, such as his involvement in Barry Horowitz's unexpected upset victory and his tag team title win as one half of the Body Donners, famously known as the Smoking Guns. Tragically, in 2005, Candido's life was cut short due to complications arising from surgery. While TNA Wrestling honored his memory by organizing a memorial tournament, WWE's recognition of Candido's passing was minimal. The company made only a single mention of him during a Gone But Not Forgotten memorial video dedicated to ECW stars at their One Night Stand event that year. It is worth noting that this video, which WWE management likely wanted no part of, was produced by Paul Heyman, forcing their acknowledgement. Number 7. Lance Cade. During his 7-year tenure with WWE, Lance Cade's potential sadly went largely untapped. For the majority of his time, he formed a formidable tag team with Trevor Murdoch, collectively known as the Highlanders. They achieved moderate success, capturing the World Tag Team Championships on 3 separate occasions. However, it wasn't until 2008 that Cade began to ascend towards the main event scene. He aligned himself with the charismatic Chris Jericho, engaging in a riveting feud with his former mentor, Shawn Michaels. In a surprising turn of events, Cade even secured a pinfall victory over HBK on Monday Night Raw. Unfortunately, Cade's promising career was derailed by personal struggles. His misuse of prescription pills led to a seizure during a WWE plane flight, resulting in his release from the company. Despite seeking help through rehab in 2010, Cade's life took a tragic turn later that year. He succumbed to heart failure caused by a mixture of drugs present in his system. Remarkably, WWE's acknowledgement of Cade's passing was rather minimal. His story was largely overlooked, with no significant tributes or mentions from the company. Number 6. Matt Osborne. Now we turn our attention to the tale of a fallen clown, and we apologize for the somber topic. Originally portrayed by Matt Osborne, Doink the Clown emerged as one of the notable faces of WWE's colorful and whimsical era in the early to mid-90s. This mischievous character, blending comedy and wrestling, captured the imaginations of fans during that time. However, when tragedy struck and Osborne passed away from heart failure in 2013, WWE remained eerily silent. There are several possible reasons for this silence. One factor could be that at least 5 individuals had assumed the role of Doink since Osborne's departure from the company. Perhaps WWE aimed to preserve the ongoing presence of the terrifying clown factory by distancing themselves from any singular portrayal. Additionally, the initial and inaccurate attribution of Osborne's death to substance abuse might have influenced the company's response. Eventually, albeit belatedly, a few lines were penned on WWE's website, but it hardly served as a fitting tribute for such an iconic character. Number 5. Viscera. In 2014, the wrestling world mourned the loss of Big Daddy V, the renowned world's largest love machine. Throughout his extensive and diverse career, which included capturing the King of the Ring tournament as Mabel and vying for the WWF title at SummerSlam, he made a significant impact within the company. Despite multiple departures and returns, Viscera's final release occurred in 2008. Tragically, in February 2014, Viscera succumbed to a heart attack, yet his passing went unnoticed during the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view held just days later. Surprisingly, there was no mention of his untimely demise on the subsequent episode of Raw. The reasons behind this omission remain unclear, especially considering Viscera's involvement in 3 distinct phases of the company. Although burdened with a controversial large man addicted to sex gimmick that also hindered performers like Mark Henry and the Great Khali, Viscera had undoubtedly left an indelible mark in the hearts and minds of countless fans. Number 4. Nancy Benoit. Nancy Benoit, tragically known to most as the woman killed by her husband Chris Benoit during a disturbing incident in 2007, had a noteworthy career that extends far beyond that unfortunate event. Over the course of 13 years, she made her mark as a manager, often referred to as Woman, in ECW. Managing wrestlers like Sandman, she engaged in memorable moments, such as lighting his cigarettes and displaying an unusual arousal while watching him unleash his cane on Mikey Whipwreck. Later, Nancy transitioned to WCW, where she joined her real-life husband, Kevin Sullivan. However, a peculiar twist occurred when she became involved in a kayfabe affair with Chris Benoit, who was feuding with Sullivan at the time. Art imitated life, and a genuine romance blossomed between Nancy and Chris. She ultimately retired from her managerial role, and the two tied the knot. Following the horrific revelation that Chris Benoit had taken the lives of his family members, WWE made the decision to distance themselves from the incident entirely, choosing never to mention it again. Consequently, Nancy's significant contributions to the wrestling world and her untimely demise remain unacknowledged by WWE. Number 3. Test. Test's career in WWE was undoubtedly eventful and filled with significant moments. His on-screen relationship with Stephanie McMahon propelled him to prominence early on, leading to a high-profile feud with Shane McMahon. However, their storyline took a dramatic turn when Stephanie was manipulated and taken by Triple H, altering the course of Test's character. Transitioning into a tag team wrestler, Test joined forces with Albert and later teamed up with Scott Steiner as part of TNA, where they garnered attention for their mistreatment of Stacy Keibler. Test also found success as a member of the Un-American stable, alongside Lance Storm and Christian, earning a one-on-one match against The Undertaker at SummerSlam 2002. Throughout his career, Test captured titles such as the European Championship, Intercontinental Championship, Hardcore Championship, and various tag team titles. Additionally, he frequently competed for the ECW World Championship. Tragically, Test's life was cut short at the young age of 33 due to an overdose of painkillers. Despite his notable contributions to WWE, he was not given a tribute, likely due to his well-documented issues with steroids and pills. Number 2. Umaga. despite his controversial and racially charged gimmick, played a pivotal role in elevating the career of Eddie Fatu, the man behind the character. Coming from the esteemed Benoit family, which also produced wrestling icons like The Rock, Yokozuna, Roman Reigns, and Rikishi, Umaga was already part of a prestigious lineage. He achieved significant success, capturing the Intercontinental Championship on 2 occasions and representing Mr. McMahon in the highly publicized Battle of the Billionaires at WrestleMania 23. Unfortunately, Umaga's time with the company came to an end in 2009. He was released due to his second violation of the wellness policy and his refusal to undergo rehabilitation. Later that same year, tragedy struck as he suffered heart failure, caused by a deadly combination of substances found in his system. Despite his untimely demise, Umaga received no tribute from the company, which sparked outrage among fans. Number 1. WWF President Jack Tunney. In the era before the infamous Montreal screwjob that exposed Vince McMahon as the owner and operator of WWF, the on-screen authority figure who kayfabe ran the organization was President Jack Tunney. However, in reality, Jack Tunney was a Canadian promoter who aligned himself with Vince McMahon from 1984 to 1995, holding the position of authority within the WWF. Although seldom seen on television, whenever significant announcements were made, such as the vacating of the WWF Championship prior to the historic Royal Rumble in 1992 or the creation of the WrestleMania 4 Championship tournament, they were attributed to the office of Jack Tunney. However, the fictional presidency of Jack Tunney came to an end in 1995, following the dissolution of the business partnership between Tunney and Vince McMahon. Tragically, when Jack Tunney passed away in 2004 due to a heart attack, not a single representative from WWE attended his funeral. Furthermore, his death went unreported on WWE's official website. It is undeniably heartbreaking that Jack Tunney, a significant figure in the WWF's history, did not receive the recognition he deserved in his final moments. And that concludes our thrilling list of wrestlers whose legacies have been overlooked by WWE. But wait, could there be more unsung heroes who deserve recognition? We turn to you, our dedicated viewers, to share your thoughts and insights in the comments section below. Did we inadvertently omit someone who should have been included? Your input is invaluable in continuing the conversation and shedding light on the forgotten stars of the wrestling world. Don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed this video and found it enlightening. Sharing this content with your fellow wrestling enthusiasts is also greatly appreciated. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to German Suplex, your go-to channel for captivating wrestling content. By subscribing, you won't miss out on future videos exploring the hidden stories and untold journeys of wrestling's unsung heroes. Join us next time as we dive deeper into the exhilarating world of professional wrestling. Until then, keep the passion for wrestling alive and keep sharing the love for this incredible sport. Stay tuned, and we'll see you in the ring.